Well, hello, this is Cammie and Sarah, and we are going to talk about rockstar mindsets today. And I really love this topic because mindset is everything. It's how we get up, how we start our days, how do we jump into motion, and how do we lead our days with really intentional mindset that keeps you on the go and keeps you on the positive. So welcome today, and excited to kick off. So how are you doing, Sarah?
I am super excited because this is one of my favorite topics out of all topics these days. And this is going to be, I think, a really good opportunity for everybody just to slow down and say, okay, I know that there's probably a lot of stuff that I feel like I need to do with my business or with my role in my life, but today isn't really about doing. Today's really about reflecting. And the slide that you see on your screen really just sums it up, right? Mindset is everything because everything flows from the way that you see the world. So I want you to just imagine or question yourself right now and ponder this. Do you believe that once your mindset changes, everything on the outside will change along with it? This is something that Steve Maraboli said, and I would say, hell yes, right? Your mindset is definitely that driver. And so Cammie and I believe that you can change anything, right? You can question everything. You can be brave, right? You can create solutions. You can learn how to do whatever it is that you want to learn. Right? You can be resilient when mistakes are made because it's inevitable that you're going to make a mistake along the way. Right? We believe that you can chase your dreams and that you can change the world. And you can do these things only if your mind is right. Right? You can have all of the talent in the world, but if you don't believe in you and the magic that you bring into the world, you're truly going to have just a mediocre life. Right? So when your mind is right, you're going to crush those daily fears that pop up, because just because yesterday you had a day where you didn't have fears doesn't mean today it's not going to start rearing its head. Right? So when your mind is right, you're going to show up in a way that aligns with your passion. Right? When your mind is right, you're going to rock the world. Where your body goes, it's because your mind has led you that way. Right? You want to rock your purpose first. Right? You've got to put those first things first. So each week, it's your job to cultivate this strong mindset, because it doesn't just happen, right? Or yesterday you decided that you're going to have a strong mindset. It's just like yoga or anything else. It's a practice, a daily practice. And so you've got to cultivate it. And this mindset is going to set you up for success in how you're going to make the choices about how you spend your time. Right? We talk to leaders all across the world, and time always comes up as a challenge. But what they don't love hearing is, well, time is the choice, and it's about your mindset around time. Right? So whether it's time, whether it's fears, whether it's epic shit, your mindset is your key. Right? So mindsets are beliefs. Beliefs about yourself and your most basic qualities. Believe in you and rock the world. So we're going to talk about ways that you're going to cultivate this, because without a strong mindset, all of your efforts are going to be off-center. So a strong mindset must come first. So as we look at this, it's about this see-do-get model. What I believe is going to influence what I do, or those actions that I take, and then that's going to flow into what I get, right? Those results. And it's really important to believe that that mental creation is going to precede that physical creation. So my mind's eye, what have I created here? And then how does that flow? Right? So you can choose to imagine that you're going to achieve epic shit in the world. Or you can imagine that you're never really going to have anything amazing to say, or that people are not going to be interested in your message. It's all in how you see these things, how you think about them, how you imagine them. So this see-do-get model nails this principle. So how you see things influences how you do things, and how you do things influences the results that you get. And so if you see yourself as a success and you've decided that you're going to be successful, you will be successful because you're actually going to do the stuff that you need to do to make that stuff happen. So it's pretty simple to think about, right? Crap in, crap out. Awesome in, awesome out. Right? And I know that there are a lot of great stories about this belief and how you see the world and this mindset, but I think that one of my favorites is from Viktor Frankl. And he survived a Nazi camp experience, right? He was brought in and had so many incredibly painful procedures tested on him. And while he was in this ridiculous predicament in his life, instead of choosing to see that his life was going to be doomed or that he might die or anything on the this sucks kind of life, he really saw and chose to have the belief that he was going to be teaching his students about his experience. And he really, in this moment of awfulness, decided to believe that there was going to be a beautiful outcome from this ugliness that he was experiencing. He chose to believe that he would get out alive, that he'd be lecturing about his experiences, that humans do have free will to choose their attitude no matter what the circumstances are that they are faced with. He chose how to frame things in a way that was really empowering. And you know what happened? He absolutely did go on and lecture to his students about this freedom to choose. So his belief was so strong that it radiated throughout everything he did. So imagine for a moment what in your life really needs to shift in your beliefs.
Our beliefs are so powerful. And this is a Napoleon Hill quote. If you can conceive something in your mind and you can believe it to be true, then you can achieve it. So it's one of these things. It's like, what are the beliefs that are showing up for you in your world right now? What are the things that you play in your mind over and over again? One of my favorite stories on visualization has to do with Walt Disney. And he was actually on his deathbed, and he was sitting with a friend who looked at him and just said, "I'm so sorry. You're not going to get to see the Epcot Center come to reality." He knew that he was going to be passing before it actually launched and opened. And Walt Disney looked at his friend and he said, "You know what?" He says, "I have been visualizing the Epcot Center for the last 15 years. I know exactly what it's going to look like. I know how it's going to feel. I know how people are going to experience it." So it's that every day he was visualizing what that Epcot Center was going to be like, what it's going to feel like, how people were going to be in it, what it was going to, how they would experience it. And so he knew exactly what it was going to be like. So that's a great way to envision what you're creating and putting out in front of you, is to really be visualizing it to the very, very detail of it. And on any given day, you have 60,000 thoughts. That's a lot of thoughts flying through our heads, right? It's like 60,000 thoughts that, snapping, here and there, going all these different directions. And, the really sad thing, guys, is that 95% of those thoughts were the same ones as they were yesterday. And so I want you to start practicing shaking it up, changing it around, using some new thoughts, bringing new thoughts, and certainly bringing more positive thoughts into your world. So if you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't. Either way, you're right. Right, Sarah?
Absolutely. I was just having this conversation with my husband the other day because he's, looking for his next chapter. And I threw out a bold idea for him, and he was like, "Oh, but I can't do that." And I just looked at him and I said, "All right, then you can't. If you truly believe that, then you can't." But what would be different if you had that belief that you could? Okay? And it looks like Debbie's got her hand up. I would love to hear what Debbie has to say. Debbie?
I wanted to go and share, and just as far as like when you think you can, that earlier this year when I came back from maternity leave and I was really upset and not happy with where I was work-wise, I put it out there and I said to myself, I'm going to have a new job and I will not be here June of this year. And that was maybe, I don't know, February, March, and then I kind of forgot about it, and then the search happened. And I have a new job in June.
Yeah.
Right? And I love that you were so intentional. You're like, I will, and I'm going to do this by June. Right?
Yep.
The quality of our energy, our thoughts, our actions have to start from that place, right? I'm going to make that. Okay. Then the universe starts to transpire to make that shit happen because you were so bold to say, I can. Right? So congratulations on that. I love, love, love hearing those types of things. Right? They can be big things. They can be small things, all scopes and sizes. And so right now, I want you to think of a goal that you've recently achieved. Have you just shared one? You know, maybe think of a different one. What was it? Now, I want you to write down 2 words that come up for you when you think about your mindset that is related to this goal. And start to consider, how did you see that challenge? So I bet that if you achieved it, you saw it as something that was totally possible. Now, it doesn't mean that it's easy, but possible. Maybe you did see that it was easy, and maybe that it actually turned out being easy. But how did you see that challenge? And what were your personal beliefs about this goal? So I'm curious. What did you write? And I see that Heather is
Susan
here.
online too.
Oh, hi, Susan. How are you? I'm good, thanks. Good. I'm really curious to know about a recent goal. Can you share what came up for you and your mindset around it?
Me, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you've been doing,
So,
too, so it'll be good.
well, actually, it's not about work, but it's actually
Okay.
about losing weight.
Okay.
So I really need to lose weight, and I think it's been kind of a downer for me and not getting me to have energy. So I joined Weight Watchers, and I just sort of said, I'm going to lose weight. I didn't rethink my thoughts. And so far, in less than a month, I've lost 5 pounds.
Nice. So what was that shift that was that kind of catalyst that made you make that call or to go and sign up?
Well, I mean, one was a friend of mine who was doing it, and I've been thinking about it. But 2, I just went to one of the meetings, and I said, you know, this isn't hard. I just need to do it, and I don't have to do it fast. I'm just going to be steady, kind of slow wins the race. And I'm consistently doing the things I need to do. You know, I downloaded the app, I'm tracking, I'm doing all of those things that they suggest, and I go to the meeting every week and I listen to their tips and I just follow the tips. And that's really helped me instead of saying, oh, it's going to be so hard. Oh, I made set time aside for myself to be able to walk 3 miles yesterday or do those things that I didn't do before. So I think that's just not having this huge expectation that was daunting, but more just a little bit every day, just try and then grow it little by little.
And you think about the 60,000 thoughts that you were probably having beforehand on a day-to-day basis around weight loss pre-making this decision, and the 60,000 thoughts that you're having on a day-to-day basis now after you made that decision. What's shifted between those 2 points?
Well, I definitely think it's sort of a personal goal that I've been able to slowly reach, you know, my ideal weight. Mm-hmm. So it's shifted from a very negative, you know, this mm-hmm. is overwhelming, there's too much going on, I can't do it, to a little by little, I'm going to get it done, steady as the race. If I screw up, okay, I've learned from that, and I'm just going to keep moving forward. I think the moving forward is really the positive, you know, the thought process.
And also the step-by-step piece of it as well. I think that's a big piece of, you know, sometimes when you look at the overarching, everything that you could be doing, and you know where you're here and you want to get to here, and it's like it can be overwhelming. But if you start breaking it down from a mindset of, you know, it's just me going out on a walk right now for 3 miles. It's me making these choices in this meal that's right here in front of me. It's those 60,000 thoughts that you are having, you're shifting them, right? You're getting out of those negative cycles.
Beautiful. And Susan, I have to ask, how do you feel since you've made this shift?
I'm feeling a lot. Yeah, I feel a lot better. It's sort of like just a lot of weight coming off my shoulders, so to speak. Not my shoulders, other places, but it's just sort of like, oh, if I can do this, then I can be working on my own business. Then I can be, you know, I think it's just like shedding the crap. I don't know how to say it any other way. Just like getting rid of the things that have been over my head. I mean, this is just one of the many things, I guess, but the weight thing has been, you know, causing me to bog down and go, oh, well, I can't do this because of this. And then I'm trying to slowly work on other things that are my goals. So, you know, whether it's personal or professional. So
success in one area will lead to success in another area. It builds, right? It's when you start creating success in one part of your life, it keeps building.
Right. Well, and it's that shift of mindset. It's like, holy moly, I was totally successful because I decided that I was going to behave differently, and it worked. Whoa, holy moly. Well, I wonder what it would be like if well, I could totally do it here. Okay, let's try it on this piece. And so it absolutely builds on itself. So that is an excellent example of, it's just that decision, right? You made that decision of, I'm going to, instead of looking at this as this giant thing that's going to take, you know, way too much effort, too much time, oh my gosh, it's overwhelming, too. I can do this step by step by step. And how well is that going to serve you across your life? Holy friggin' moly. So congratulations. I love it. And I bet now that you, instead of working on a kind of fixed mindset, you're really working in a growth mindset type of space. And so let's dive into that a little bit more. Our minds are always moving, and sometimes they're in growth mode, and sometimes they're in fixed mode. Right? In the fixed mode, people believe that their basic qualities like their intelligence or their talent are simply fixed traits. They spend their time documenting their intelligence or talent instead of developing them. They also believe that talent alone creates success without effort. Well, and we know that that's just wrong. Right? And so our goal is to say, okay, how can I move into this growth mindset? And this is where people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Right? Brains and talent are just the starting point. And this view creates a love of learning and a resilience that's essential for great accomplishment, right? And that resilience is really, really, really important, because it's not easy to want to wake up and, you know, go and work your body, or to make those tough decisions about what's going to go into your mouth, or to like have to make that phone call to reach out and build your brand and your network because they might say no, right? It's that resilience piece, right? And it's essential for that great accomplishment. So virtually all great people have got to have those qualities, right? Because in growth mode, you embrace challenges. You keep going even when it's really freaking hard. You see things as a path to mastery. Right? You learn from criticism instead of being just crushed by it. Right? You learn from and you get inspired from the success of others. Right? In fixed mode, it's just the opposite, right? You avoid the challenges. You give up easily. You see effort as a wasted time because it's going to take too long, or maybe you're not the lucky one that's going to get it. Right? You ignore criticism because you write that off. You can justify till you die. Right? You feel threatened by the success of others. So I want you just to do a quick check. Where do you think that you land on most days? Are you in the growth or fixed mode? And the cool part is that, of course, you have the choice, right? The choice about your mindset every day, every hour, right? You can choose the limiting mindset or the empowering mindset, because you have that free will part. Remember Frankel? And the cool part is you have a wild imagination. Right? When's the last time that you really let your imagination flow? So now I want you to consider, what's that special goal or intention that you have in your life right now, whether it's professional or personal or whatever you want to label it. Think about crossing that finish line. Think about crushing that goal. What belief will you need in order to rock it? Perhaps some of these next slides will be helpful as you're really putting some language around this. So you really do have the power to choose to believe. Right? You may believe that it's going to be possible, but it's too difficult. Right? A lot of people, oh, I can't build my own business because that's just way too freaking hard. Right? Well, you could choose to believe that, or you could flip it around and say it may be difficult, but it is freaking possible. Right? One of my favorite movies, Dumb and Dumber. You've got Jim Carrey, and he's talking about the girl, right? And she was like, not in a million, like, it's the longest shot possible that we could ever be together. And he's like, but what you're saying is there's a chance. He's like, yes, that's all he needed was that belief that there's a chance that he might get her to fall in love, right? The next
really one of your favorite movies, Sarah?
It is. It's so stupid and funny. Oh my God. Yeah. It's one of those like, haha. But it's a love story, and it's always about the possibility, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get there and make this shit happen.
And there's possibility.
Yes, there is that possibility. So how would you behave if you knew that your big dream is totally possible? This next one, you have the power to choose to believe that you can figure anything out. Right? You are good enough. Okay? So it's a choice again. Do you want to believe, well, I'm not good at this? Or would you want to flip it around and say, well, what am I missing? Right? That I'm not good at this is like kind of just shut it down. I'm writing it off, not going to do it. The what am I missing brings in this air of curiosity and possibility again. So how would you behave if you knew your talents and gifts will guide you through the roughest of challenges? Now, what about this one? You could choose just to see the pain, right? Especially like when I try to do the early morning 5:30 a.m. hustle, it's like that pain of, oh my gosh, my pillow is so amazing. I don't want to get up because it hurts. Or it's the gain, like the muscle that I'm going to be building, right? So you have that power to choose. Rockstar minds believe that the gain is so worth the pain. So how would you behave if you knew your pain would pay off? And then the final one I'd like you to consider is that you could choose to see all the problems. And at work, I know when you're sitting around the boardroom table, it's often that you have a great idea and then everybody starts talking about it. And instead of seeing the possibilities, it's like, well, here are the 20,000 reasons that it might not work. Here are all the problems that I see with this. Okay? Rockstar minds believe that all the problems have solutions and that the possibilities are endless. So how would you behave if you knew that all the problems that you face have a real solution? You can think success or you can think frustration. You can show true grit or you can be helpless. It's totally your choice. And you know this, but today is your opportunity to look at it from a different view and to make a different choice, to truly embody it. So I'd like you to now think of your performance over the last week. So if you had to assign a percentage of time where you were living in the growth mindset, what would it be? Would it be 30%, 50%, 70%, 90%, 100%? What is it? Now I want you to think of your results from last week. Did they meet your expectations? What's the gap? If you have a big one, the first place is to look at your mindset. not your process. Because you know what? A lot of people will look at their problems and their results and say, oh, you know what? I bet it's because I need to go and learn something, or I need to buy a new system that's going to help me do the work, or I need a tool that's going to help me do this better, or I need staff perhaps that's going to come in and support me. But I would say you are missing the boat if you don't stop and look at you first. Right? And I was just having a conversation this morning with another person who works with millennials, and this is an interesting conversation to be in with, mindset, because all of these organizations in the world know that they've got to attract mindset, or they have to attract millennials, right? Because who's going to be their workforce if they don't? But they have this mindset of, oh, well, if we can just get the millennials to bend to our way, right, then everything's going to be fine. But it's like, no, actually, what do we need to do as leaders, as organizations, to be in a way that's going to attract them and to honor them and to celebrate them? Right? We have to look inside, not, okay, what kind of a consultant do we need to hire that's going to help us all get along? It's like, no, let's look at our own mindsets. Right? So look at how you're seeing the world. If you were happy with the result that you had last week, identify the abundance mindsets that are fueling you. Right? Because it's really important for you to know what's working and throw some gas on that. Live into them more. Right? So where did you land? So now I want you to think of 2016. Is it just crazy to think that we're already halfway through?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what are you going to do to live on purpose for the rest of this year? What are some of the positive beliefs that you're going to need to stick with? Right? I know that for me, I have to continue to believe and to know that I can absolutely live life on my terms, build the business with what I think, right? That I don't have to try to pretend to be like somebody else, because there was a successful coach over there that was doing great things. I don't need that. I need to embody what I bring to the table. I know that that is critical to my message, my ability to go out and share my message, right? The belief that epic shit isn't going to scare people away, right? And if it does, they're not a part of my ideal tribe, and it's going to be a magnet for those who are. Right? That's what I know I need to embody. Cami, what about you?
Well, I think when I think of this question about what, is what's coming in front of me, I think about Fire Dancer. My book's going to be out this fall. And so this has been sharing my heart and soul, right? I have been going through and I've been pulling all of these stories of my own journey out. And the magic that comes from the work that I bring into the world, I have to believe in that. I have to believe that this is messages and help that our world really needs right now. So believing that my stories are going to matter for other people is going to be really, really important for me as I go through some big launches this fall.
Right, right. And I did some work even just yesterday around, like, I've got to have that mindset that I'm worthy to receive. Like, that was like something that I hadn't played with much until just yesterday. It's like, oh my God, I need to be open to receive, because sometimes like, oh no, I can totally do it myself. I'm good. It's like, no, I need to have that mindset that it's so good to receive. Yeah. So what's yours? Think about that.
So what I want you to think about now, as you're thinking about what's remaining of 2016, what is one important thing for your success that you want to have happen? And I want you to write it down. Oh, I love the dove. Who's got a dove singing in the background?
Oh, that's me, Susan.
Hi, Susan. I love doves.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Don't apologize. I love it.
That's all right. We'll bring that dove in. So share a little bit about what you've got as far as goals out there for the second half of this year. Debbie?
I was counting how many weeks were left in the year. I need to lose weight. So since I got a new job, I can focus on my health again.
Okay. So it's a health-oriented one. How about you, Susan?
Well, first work on my business, and then also just start working on my house now that I have more time.
Okay. So for this exercise, why don't you focus it on your business?
Okay.
Okay. So, and specifically what you want around that. You know, what is it that you want around your business? Can you respond to that?
Well, I think I've taken time out for myself in the last couple months, maybe more than I should have, but I just was trying to heal myself, I suppose, from the toxic environment that I was in before. Right. So now that I'm starting to feel a lot better about that, I want to start moving forward. And I actually just heard of a success over the weekend. I sent in a proposal, and they said they want to hire me, so that's a good start. But I need to continue to work on the leads that I have, which, you know, like you said, it's hard when I feel like there's a lot of rejection or no answer, no reply.
Right.
So I just need to continue to focus in and work to talk to people who are interested and really do need the help. So
really, your goal is about bringing more people, more clients into your business, basically.
Yes.
Okay, good. How about you, Heather?
Number? I'm curious. Before we go on, Susan, do you have an ideal number of clients that you would want to attract, say, in the next 3 months?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I haven't actually thought about that, which is probably something I do need to think about.
Yeah, so put a number to it. Even right now.
Yeah. I mean, if I could get in the next 3 months 1 or 2 more clients, you know, because I don't want to overload myself. I just want to.
You want to be able to serve those clients well.
Right.
Exactly. That makes sense. Okay, so I think so go for the 2. And then, Heather, you have to unmute yourself on your end.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Still a little loud behind me. But, so a couple goals here. First goal, quitting my job, which will happen very, very soon. Second goal is taking the 2 months and spending it in the mountains with my husband and my boys and just reconnecting. And I already know that will be an amazing experience. And then my big goal is really launching Root of Wellbeing in the fall. And that is, it's going to be such an incredible, tremendous site full of inspiration. And one of my goals that I have with that is finding others in the Denver metropolitan area that are focused in on health and well-being and highlighting them. So calling them up, asking for interviews, meeting them, and creating this larger community that I can showcase on my blog so that I can start to generate, generate more of a following.
And more, not just a following, you want to be generating revenue.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So for the purpose of this exercise, I would focus this on Root of Wellbeing, and I'd put that number in your mind, what you want to be doing from a revenue perspective, so that you're identifying, you're setting forward in that direction.
Okay.
Okay.
And I would even take it that as the relationship building I heard was really important, and being able to create content and really inspire and uplift everybody. So start thinking about how many people or groups or connections is that by your launch time, so that you can start using that. Like, is it 10, is it 20, is it 100? Like, what's going to be that number that's going to help be a target for you?
Right. Okay. And what's the dollar amount you want to be generating by the end of the year? That's the number. I really want you focused in on that.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Okay. So where I want you guys to do, what I want you to do now is I want you to think about that goal that you've chosen and what are the most empowering beliefs around that goal. how do they strengthen your life? What are the things that you believe, you truly believe in your heart of all hearts, that you can do, that you can bring forth from an empowering perspective? Write those down. And then circle your 1 or 2 most empowering beliefs that you wrote down. I want to hear what those are. Heather, do you want to share yours? What empowering beliefs do you have about?
Sure. Actually, this comes from last weekend, actually. Just the fact that I can and will lead with my unquenchable energy and positivity. And that's something I can own, and that's something that can keep the momentum going, and I know it's something that will serve me very well.
Right. Very good. Very good. How about you, Susan?
I guess I didn't understand the question. I was thinking of like all the different tactical things I was doing. So in terms of empowering myself to get more clients, I mean, I guess I need to make sure that I don't get down when someone doesn't reply to me. I just keep moving forward.
So that's one. What I would like to kind of play with you is, because what you're doing in your own business, you've been doing for a long time, right? You
Right.
have, and you have amazing contacts in your industry, right? Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
And so those are empowering beliefs, right? You've been really successful at building relationships in the past. I'm really good at creating relationships, at opening up partnerships between different groups. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
These can be some things also that you maybe experienced when we were with the horses, right? Because that was a time where you were totally, shifting and feeling into those amazing things that you are. So if you're ever at a point where you're like, gosh, I need some of that reconnection to my awesomeness, go back and look at your journal and look at your workbook from that. I mean, the work that you've done through coaching. There's so many amazing things that you are.
Yes.
And connector and builder and awesome, relationship lady. You definitely are.
Yeah. You feel how that feels, Susan? Just even connecting into it and having Sarah say that?
Right, yeah. Thanks, Sarah. Actually, I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Just feel how that energy is going to move into your actions this afternoon when you believe that, yeah, this is freaking awesome. I know that I am these things.
Yeah. When you're picking up the phone to call somebody and you're taking those empowering beliefs with you into that phone call, into the conversations you're having, into those moments that might even be a little sticky, right? It's like, but wait a minute, I've got this. Sometimes it's those arrow things that Sarah had early on, where it's like, yeah, this is difficult. Yeah, this is difficult, but I can do this.
Mm-hmm. The grind is worth it.
Right.
Right.
How about you, Debbie?
It took me a while, actually, and scribbled a whole lot. So I'm putting out a goal for myself to lose 25 pounds by the end of the year, and so my empowering belief is that I have the strength to take care of my body and make the healthiest choices.
Okay, good.
And you totally just did this as you were pregnant, right?
Say that again?
you totally were empowered and made the right choices to take care of your body when you were pregnant, right?
Yes, and I'm still breastfeeding, and people say that you're supposed to go and lose weight quickly, and I hear a lot of other women say that's a load of poo, and so it's been a struggle, but I think I'm finally, because I've been able to, when I first started doing group coaching, I wanted to change everything. I told Cammie that, and then I was able to kind of hone in and make sure that career was the one thing I was going to focus on, and that is now rocking for me. So now I'm going to focus more on me and my health, because I know that when that's in line, that everything else will come together a lot easier for me. So, yeah.
The other thing I might suggest you do on that goal is to rewrite that versus I'm going to lose 25 pounds, which is just like it's like a grind kind of a goal, right? Versus a gift goal. It's like I'm feeling amazing and awesome because I am my optimal weight, and I'm putting really nutritious food into my body. I'm getting plenty of exercise. I mean, that's just a different type of a way to even define your goal.
Better. I love that so much more. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Because then when you're going to the gym, you're like, I'm doing this for myself. It's not like I have to go to the gym. It's I'm going to the gym because I deserve to treat myself well here. It's a gift goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Now what I want you to do is I want you to think about that goal that you guys have got, and I want you to think about what are the limiting beliefs, the things that are just showing up kind of sticky for you that maybe are kind of going on in the back of your head, and it's like it's that inner critic is showing up, and she's telling you some nasty thing. So what are those limiting beliefs that and I'll give you an example. Several years ago when I started doing public speaking, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I would go and I would say, you know what, I'm a horrible public speaker. That's a pretty big limiting belief, right? And there was this, you know, so I would go and get up on the stage and I'd be telling myself, you know what, I'm not very good at this, but I'm going to do it. And you know, it didn't serve me. And I had to do a lot of work, and I had to shift that mindset, and I went to all kinds of training, and I went to all kinds of, you know, you name it, I did it. But the biggest thing that I did was I shifted my mindset into I can inspire a room full of people. And that I know. I believe that I can get people into action, I can get them moving, I can help them change their world. And so when I go out into the stage now and I'm thinking about changing, helping create a catalyst for people and helping create this environment and inspiration, it's a whole other thing. And I enjoy it and I love it then. So it's you know, it's all in our mind. So what are those limiting beliefs that you guys have that you're telling yourself around that goal? Let's go ahead and write those down.
I used to believe that I was just big-boned and that I could never be skinny because, well, I'm just big-boned and that's just the way that it is, and so why should I even try? It's like, thank you.
Yeah, you're so big-boned, dear.
Yeah. It's like funny, your mind, you believe it, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Of course I look big-boned, I'm just fat.
Now I want you to circle your 1 to 2 most limiting beliefs that you've written out there. I want you to think about the consequences that these beliefs are having in your life. It's kind of painful, right? They definitely keep you from having what you really want and achieving what you want. What will it ultimately cost you if you don't change this belief? And how is this belief ridiculous? There's probably a good chance that it's pretty ridiculous. Is there a person that you learned this belief from? And is that person worth modeling? this for you? Do they have the kind of life you want? Let's hear a couple of your limiting beliefs. Susan?
Okay, so I guess one of the things that I keep thinking, because this is global that I'm working on, and sometimes I have this belief that if I'm not helping someone I was working for before, then I'm hurting them. Does that make sense? So if I'm helping a non-U.S. company, then I'm hurting the U.S. company or the growers or the people I was helping before, and that I feel like it's going against my grain of, like, I was helping them for 14 years and now I'm using my wherewithal to hurt them. Does that, I mean, that's maybe deep.
That's a really good one. That's a really good one, Susan. So it's like you've built these really solid relationships over the years, and so now you're helping other people, other groups do something similar, and it may impact their market share is what you're talking about.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Competition.
Competition, yeah, I'm helping the competition.
Sharing some things that make them like, oh, now I was helping these guys, and now I'm sharing secrets or, you know, my intel, my whatever, and now they're going to grow, and, these guys, they're over here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a really good one. That's a really, really good one. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be shifting this, right? And you could even be looking at it from a whole market perspective. You're helping that whole market, right? You're helping that market grow and evolve, and just, you know, so others understand what Susan does is she does import. She helps companies import and export food products around the world, and so huge expertise in this area. And so what if you were to change that, to flip that a little bit, and to that you're helping whole industries expand and grow?
Yeah, that's a better way to think about it. I did talk to the guy in England that he's really been helpful in the last couple weeks, and when I said something to him, I almost feel better if I had a U.S. client and I could help in other countries rather than bring in a UK or whatever company. And he said, yeah, but you actually, or we're actually helping the other people, because if they hired us, we have more information on that side too, if that makes sense. So by helping others, I learn more about the other side, and then I can help the others I helped before more.
Exactly. So that's a really good one. How about you, Heather?
So I think my biggest limiting belief is that people won't find the money to hire me, or they won't value what I have to offer.
Right.
Awesome.
Which is really normal in the beginning of an entrepreneurial stage to have that fear, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, so
Interesting if you do believe that that's who you will attract, is all of the people that can't afford you, and then there's frustrations like, I believe this and that's who I'm talking to, and then it's like it's that self-fulfilling prophecy thing going on.
Right, and they want all the work done for free, right? They want me to come over and spend hours and hours and hours with them, helping them, but not paying a cent.
Yes. Yeah. So you're so beautiful to like identify this now.
Okay.
Like, oh yes. So kudos.
And as you start having, what?
I have the same fear.
You have the same fear, Susan?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and as you guys start helping people, you're going to start seeing the value that comes forth from that. I mean, you think about, and you know, Heather, what you're doing as far as going out and helping people bring health into their lives. What is that worth? That is worth a lot. That's going to shift whole life. People are going to live longer. They're going to have healthier families. What is that worth? That's and then so putting on that mindset of understanding what your value is and how you can impact lives. And so looking at it from that perspective versus it's a dollar perspective.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
yes, and know that there are people out there that have tons of money. I had the same belief for a long time too, Heather, in that like, well, millennials don't have enough money to pay what I want to charge them to coach them. You know, because they're young, they're not even moving out of their parents' basements, and you read all of the stuff out there, right? And it's like, well, no, like there are a lot of rich people out there. There are a lot of people that are totally going to want to spend the money, and so it's like taking it. These people aren't going to be able to afford to pay me to. There are a lot of people that are going to be a part of my tribe that are just waiting to give me their money, and they've got plenty of it to spare.
Right, right, and that's a lot of as you start moving into actually launching, Heather, be reaching out to us because we can really help you with that. It's have all the right tools for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You bet. How about you, Debbie? What are your limiting beliefs?
Mine are so personal.
They're what?
I said mine are so, they're so personal.
Ah.
So I said that, I wrote down, I will always be fat. Everyone else's needs will trump mine. There isn't time for me to exercise. I'm not meant to reach my goals. And I will always struggle with food.
Okay. Okay. And those are all really common ones for anyone wanting to do something in the eating space. And so totally I've seen those. I've said them to myself. So those are ones that, how could you flip any one of those? Pick one to flip.
But I am meant to reach my goals, that I can reach my goals, I will reach my goals.
Right. You have in the past. You've been very successful from an athletic perspective, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. That I can make space and time because it's a priority for me. I have to be, I want to be a healthy mom.
Yeah.
I am a healthy mom. That's a better way to say it. So that's
have you seen the cool video on Facebook where the mom uses her baby in her workout? Like pulling him, and we're like, oh my gosh, if my baby was still that small, I'd be trying to do that too. Like, oh my gosh. That's how I find the time the baby and I were playing. You're so right on in all of those struggles. So you've got this choice now to make of, I'm going to make the time.
And what I want you guys to do is just to really make a declaration to yourself that you're just no longer willing to have the consequences any one of those beliefs is going to cause you in your life. And I want you to be really aware of when you start getting those inner critic messages, those voices telling you that, that those negative thoughts. Be aware of them. Write those down. Sit down and, take the time and opportunity to write those down. And then flip those. Rewrite those. So after we get off the call today, I want you to go back and look at each one of those limiting beliefs. And I want you to rewrite them in a very, very positive way, because that is what's going to really shift things for you. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
To start looking through the world through a different lens. And I want you to get your pens ready. We've got 4 terrific tips to help you master your mindset. You ready? Here's number 1.
Yes. And if you were on the Syzygy Circle page right before we launched this, you're going to see a video, and it's a Sesame Street video, and it's friggin' awesome. And it's all about the power of yet. And so if you've seen it, I want you to watch it again. If you haven't seen it, then go back and click that link when we're done. Because you may not know all of the answers of what it's going to take for you to crush these goals that you've been writing down yet. And so this three-letter word can change everything. I am not at my ideal weight yet. I haven't landed the 2 clients that I'm dreaming of yet. Okay? I haven't whatever yet. It is a possibility. It's coming to me. I believe that, right? So you will. It's just a matter of working on it. It's a matter of tapping into your intuition, your strengths, your talents, your inner awesome. The answers are there, right? So why is the power of yet so important to your mindset? Because it shows you that anything is possible. You don't know how to do it yet, but you can learn. You haven't hit your money goals yet. Circumstances can change in an instant. Remember this, always. Yet is super powerful. So consider, how can you weave the power of yet into your mindset? What is an area of yet that you need to focus in on? Right? I know that I'm not rocking keynotes on big, huge global stages yet. But will I be there? You better bet your ass. Right? So I'm preparing for it like it is coming. Like I know that it's coming. Tammy, what's a yet for you?
Oh, it's my book launch, right? I haven't launched my book yet. I've got that hard copy sitting here, but it's got to get out there in the hands of a whole lot of people. And so my yet is getting it out there. And I can tell you, I am studying up. I am putting all the right pieces. I'm getting all the right endorsements. I'm doing all the right things, and I will continue to do that until the fall launch. And so it will be, my yet hasn't happened there yet, but it will be.
Absolutely.
So it's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer, right? So it takes stamina when you've got problems that you're working through, that you know, I got up this morning and I'm thinking of, I'm in the midst of this launch around my quiz, around a webinar series that I'm going to run at the end of the month. And so that stamina, and it was like, I sat down to do my quiet time this morning, and I was sitting outside, and the message I got from my dad was, pull up your bootstraps and get out and do it, right? It takes some stamina. It takes some energy. It takes imagination. It takes putting time and space into it. So you'll find a solution if you just stay with the problem. Because I could say, oh gosh, there's so many moving pieces to this launch that I'm not sure what the hell to do with it. Or I can say, you know what, I'm going to start little piece by piece by piece, and it will get done. And so you need to see the possibility of the new future when you're looking at that. And adopt a curiosity mindset whenever fear starts to creep in. You know, so replace fear of the unknown with curiosity. So ask yourself, what are the possibilities? What could a new way look like? I wonder what amazing things could happen if. These are just questions that you can be asking yourself. Anytime you've got this unknown, you don't know where it's going, how it's going to happen, how is my new business going to launch? I don't know. There's all kinds, but what are the possibilities? What's the new way of bringing things about? What amazing things could happen? And believe that curiosity will help you find new solutions. It will help you find new ways of working, new ways of being, and learn to be a warrior. Learn to just stick with it and hang in it and remain open to learning. Yep, and we're bringing Einstein back in for a second appearance because he rocks. Whatever you dream, you can achieve. So be curious and the answers will come. And remember, don't just be curious. Be curious with a purpose. With a real purpose around it, right? Consider today, what aspect of your life needs you to be more curious? Are there places that feel sticky and, you know, not really moving the way you want to? Maybe just get curious. Even just the energy of curiosity shifts your whole body. It shifts how you might even think about things. If you're feeling fear, curiosity and fear can't live in the same space together. So if you're fearful of something, get curious about, you know, what it is that I need to know here, and believe that intelligence can be developed. You need to see what your imagination has to offer. There's all kinds of stuff there for you, right? There's let it unfold.
That's right. And tip number 3 is something that might come because of your curiosity, right? Through your curiosity, you might have a really wild idea. and it might be a really risky idea. And then you're going to have that decision point of, will I move with it, or will I let fear guide me? Okay? So taking risks can be a great thing for developing a strong mindset. Right? Vulnerability can be a risk, for instance, but that can be exactly what you need. Okay? So this is the whole idea of thinking outside of the box. And yes, if you do, you could fail. You really could. But so what? Right? You will make mistakes. And risks, though, on the other hand, can bring the biggest rewards, even through failure. Why? Well, because you're going to have learning. You're going to have an experience in which that you can decide how you're going to move from it. Failure, to me, is just another word for growing. And I'll tell you, I did what did I call it? A business, it wasn't a business, it was just a leadership mastermind, or a master class, that's what I called it, in Phoenix a couple of weeks ago. I went there and was like, yeah, I'm going to have this class, I'm going to have 10 people in it, and I did all the visualization. I'm like, yes, this is going to be freaking awesome. I did the work, I put in my leads page, I started making phone calls. I'm like, yes, it's going to happen, and it was a freaking disaster. I didn't sign up the people that I wanted to sign up. And it was a failure. But at the end of the day, there was so much that I learned through it, and it fueled my fire. And it's like, all right, yeah. But the cool thing is, like, I at least put the offer out there. I was doing something. And I built some really strong relationships, I think, in that process. So don't worry about your failure. You're going to learn from it. You are growing. And I just want you to think for a second about maybe one of your best learning experiences that you've had in your life. And I bet that whatever that thing is that you're thinking about didn't come easily. Some of them were probably the hardest lessons that you've had to learn. And that is why they stick. That's why they touch you at the core. So you took a risk. It may have worked out. Maybe it didn't. But either way, you've learned. You've gained valuable experience, and it's changed you for the better. So today, we invite you to consider what your relationship with risk is, and how can you pump up the volume of it? What's the risk that you really need to take right now? And be okay, be 100% okay that through a failure, if that's how it turns out, it's going to be okay. Strong mindsets welcome risk. Oftentimes, the bigger the risk, the sweeter the reward. You need to see risk as your friend.
Dance in that risk. Have fun with it. And tip number 4 is to think about your thinking and think about it daily. Reflect on your mindset. Check into it on an hourly basis even, because it shifts throughout the day, right? You might be having all these really great things happening, and then something happens and it kind of shifts your whole mindset. So be checking in. Where is my mindset at? Think it with your head and with your heart. So feel into it. Look into the mirror. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are those 60,000 thoughts happening there? Strong mindsets have to be worked like a muscle. What's working? What's not? Are you hearing repetitive negative thoughts? And most importantly, what are you going to do about it? And as you think about your thinking, consider any excuses that you've been making to justify not doing the work you need to do to get the results you want. Be stronger than your excuses today, every day. Each day is a choice. So for me, I'm really great at making excuses about walking every day. I see the value in doing it, and I want to do it daily, but I make excuses about it. I just get too busy, right? I'm too busy. It's too cold. I don't want to agitate my back. The list goes on and on. So why do I let that happen? Why do I just justify it till I die, right? I have been shifting that. I can tell you that right now I've been shifting that. I'm starting to shift it into, oh my God, I love this time. It's like my special time. It's beautiful out here. There's birds all around. There's feathers that I'm picking up off the ground. There's all these wonderful things. Shift your mindset. So be stronger than any excuses that you've got going on. So here they are, the 4 tips to keeping a rock star mindset. The power of yet, the passionate curiosity, the risk taker, and reflect on thinking. Believe all of these. Really kind of tune into that. Be passionately curious. Use your imagination. Learn. Take risks. You'll learn no matter what the outcome is. And think about your thinking every damn day. Get real with yourself. Up the ante. Ask yourself, what would you add to these tips? What helps you stay strong in the mind? And this is great. I mean, this is a great little chart here, right? It's like, which step have you reached today? I won't do it. I can't do it. I want to do it, but how do I do it? I don't know how to do it. I'll try to do it. I can do it. I will do it. I did it. So change that. Just change it around. Okay. So we always have a TED Talk to recommend. What do you recommend here, Sarah?
Ooh, this one is a really, really cool one, and it's by Sean Anker, and he talks about the positive brain and how it links to high performance. So not only is he just really funny, he's got some great stories. He really gets to the heart of why positive thinking is so important for us right now. And he talks about some really cool statistics, and he says that 31% are more productive when they're in a positive frame of mind. And this, Susan, probably is a great one for you, and Heather, Debbie, all of us, is that we're 37% better at sales when we approach it with that kind of a mindset. So consider for a moment that most of the news we hear and see is negative these days, especially right now. And just think of all of the stuff that is being inundated into our lives. It's just negative, nasty, heavy shit, right? So it's so important for us now more than ever that we exercise our brains properly. And the lens in which we view the world is going to shape us, and it impacts us. And so focusing on that positive.
You mentioned that. I mean, yesterday morning I got up and I had not really watched a lot of the news, and I thought I could get up and really watch the news. Right, I could get up and I knew what the news was about enough that I could get up and turn on the 6 a.m. news, and I made a choice. Consciously made the choice. I wasn't going to start my day in the news. I was going to go do some other things that were going to be much better for my mindset. So you have that choice where you're going to feed it with the negative or the positive.
Right, and it totally is about that decision point. What are you going to decide? So consider how you want to resonate in the world. If you're bringing positive energy in the world, if you're spending your time on positive things or negative things, and you're going to be changing the world based on those decisions, right? And you're going to be speeding up your forward moment, your forward momentum, your forward motion if you choose to really stay in that positive. Because positive energy moves much more quickly than negative energy. And so this positive brain, that's why it's linked to high performance. So definitely go search that one out. Give yourself that gift of time. It's not very long, and you'll be really, really happy that you did. And then you're going to start putting your mindset into other things that you can do to build this positivity. And Cammie's got an exciting little webinar coming up.
I do. This is all about stepping into your bold self, right? It's about owning who you are and getting past the things that are going to stop you from moving forward. So mark your calendars for June 28th and June 29th. I'm going to do two encores of it. So make sure I'm going to launch this here in the next couple of days, and when I launch it, grab your spot. Hope to see you there.
Yeah. Now we've got more jam sessions.
Yeah.
Yay.
Our next one is all going to be about the 4 core, nurturing your mind, body, spirit, and relationships. So that mark your calendar for July 12th. And we be jamming. So share this. We're happy to have you guys share this as we're going around this time. We are going to make these ones open and available for you to be able to share with other people. And so do share this and use the hashtag WeBeJammin'. And thank you for jamming with us today.
Yes.
So
we'll see you soon.
We'll see you guys later.
Keep rocking that positive mindset.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.